What's going on YouTube? Zapp here, and it is Wednesday, March 5th, and it is time for another edition of the Zapp Talk series. Didn't really get a whole lot of questions this time around, so I'm probably going to be able to answer all the questions that were given to me in this one particular episode. So without any hesitation, let's go ahead and get into it. This first one comes from S Enigma Productions. He asks, what are my thoughts on SaltyBet.com, which is the Mugen-based betting casino. Here's my thoughts on SaltyBet. I don't know anything about Salty Bets. I've heard a lot about it, but I don't really care. I've never cared to go to Salty Bets, never cared to look at Salty Bets, never cared to ask about Salty Bets. So, in short, I don't give a fuck about Salty Bets. Now, moving on to the next question. This one comes from Flaming Dragon Punch. He says that when I said that I wanted to become a professional wrestler, did I mean going to the WWE or regular wrestling without the acting in the Olympics? There's a difference between the two, right? Professional wrestling means you're getting paid to do it, right? It means you're getting paid to do the acting, the crazy spots, take the bumps, do the choreograph in the ring, and make the crowd happy. That's what you're getting paid to do, and that's what makes you a professional, quote unquote, at it, right? The other wrestling, the amateur wrestling, the collegiate wrestling, is the stuff that you see on TV where the guys are in a ring and they're grappling each other, trying to jockey for position, and they're getting points either added or docked depending on what they're doing. And that's the difference between the two. So when I say professional wrestling, I do mean the shit you see on TV where the guys in WWE or in TNA or Ring of Honor or New Japan Pro Wrestling, whatever the case is, they're doing their thing. They're acting out all this stuff that's already been pre-planned. That's the stuff that I'm really into. However, I do from time to time watch collegiate and amateur wrestling. I'm actually a fan of it, not necessarily to the point where I go out of my way to look for it, but I still if I'm flipping through channels and I happen to see it, I'll stop and watch it. So yeah. This one comes from F Noel 124. Noel asks, who's the best character on the Walking Dead TV show? To be perfectly honest with you, I don't really have a favorite character right now. It was the governor, because I don't know, he was just so cold and manipulative and just a complete badass. He wasn't the same as how he was in the comic books, completely at least, but he was different from his character in the comics, in a more likable sense. In the comics you hate the governor, but in the TV show you actually kind of have mixed feelings about the character himself. So I like TV Governor, but now that he's not around anymore, I don't really have a favorite. But as far as the comic books goes, my favorite character in the comics has got to be Andrea, who is a complete 180 from how she was in the TV show. More capable, less naive, and was definitely not I don't know, she was just more of a badass character, I'd say. And I would say that Andrea is probably more, if not just as badass as, let's say, a Michonne is in the comic books. Whereas in the TV show, Andrea was a little bit more dependent on Michonne during their tenure together. So, yeah. In the TV show, it was the governor, but now he's not alive anymore, so I don't have a favorite. God22 wants to know, what sports do I play or watch? I don't watch sports. I find sports to be rather boring to watch. However, if anyone were to say, hey, let's get a team together and do like some street football or basketball, I play football or basketball. I had a decent jump shot, and as far as football goes, you'll get your ankles broken all day. I get shook, straight up. But yeah, I don't watch sports. If you want to put me to sleep, put some sports on TV. Unless it's the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl involves the 49ers, I ain't saying I have to watch that shit. This one comes from Trent Stacy. What is it going to take for you to start looking in Nintendo's direction and consider purchasing a Wii U? There absolutely is nothing Nintendo can do right now that'll make me want to buy a Wii U. Not a goddamn thing. The online infrastructure sucks. The graphical capabilities of the game are absolutely limited. The third-party support for the system is not there. So there's nothing Nintendo can do right now with the Wii U that would make me want to buy one. Its game library is not to my liking, not at all. But if Nintendo, looking forward, would consider putting more time and money into advertising, reaching out to other developers, third-party publishers, and maybe come up with some new IPs instead of constantly relying on Mario and Zelda to bail them out of jams, then maybe, just maybe, I would consider buying a Wii U. They also need to update that online infrastructure. The online infrastructure sucks. It's terrible. And Nintendo needs to think about actual online gaming moving forward, because they just aren't doing it. Online gaming is very important. Not everybody wants to fucking, hey buddy, you want to come over to my house and we can play some, Super Smash Bros, or we can play that Sonic Boom together on my couch. Like, what the fuck? Dude, from what I understand, Super Smash Brothers, the new one, is going to have online multiplayer, but you guys get my point. Miguel Vasquez wants to know, who is my favorite fighting game community player, or FGC player? Right now, it's probably looking more towards 16-bit. For those of you guys who don't know, 16-bit, very prominent MK9 player. He mains Katana in Mortal Kombat 9. Love watching his Katana play. And also in Injustice, he mains Catwoman, probably the best Catwoman in North America. And the reason why he's probably one of my favorite players right now is because not only is he just good, but he brings hype to whatever is going on. Whether he's the one playing or if he's behind commentary, he brings hype to the game that we're watching right now. So whether it's MK9 or Injustice, the man is a really damn good hype person, and a lot of people would agree with it. So it's probably 16-bit right now. Papa Docs asks, did you subscribe to the WWE Network? Hell no. Why would I do that when I have YouTube that has boundless matches for me to want to watch? And luckily, a lot of the matches that I've always wanted to watch again are right there, readily accessible for me to watch on YouTube. So maybe I'll look into subscribing to the WWE Network in the future, but right now I don't really see a need to do that. This last question comes from Lucky Sneaks. He asks, hey Zapp, if you could choose 5 games from any system in time that could be upgraded to 1080p HD and running at 60 frames a second, what would they be and why? I'm not really that much of a graphics and resolution whore, so as long as the graphics look good and run at a steady frame rate, I'm cool with it. But for the sake of answering your question, 5 games that I want to see brought back in 1080p HD and 60 frames a second. This is in no particular order, but I would say Area 51 for the original Xbox. I love that game. Unreal Tournament 2000 or 99, whatever you want to call it. The original Unreal Tournament. I'd like to see that brought back. Unreal Championship 2. I'd like to see that brought back. Number 4 is probably Outrun. For those who don't know, Outrun is an arcade racing game made by Sega. I'd like to see that brought back at 1080p running at 60 frames a second. And the 5th game is probably going to be... I'd like to see a 1080p 60 frames a second remake of Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Yeah. With today's graphics and everything that's capable of the developers of today's generation, I think a 1080p HD remake of Zombies Ate My Neighbors would be pretty fun. Straight up. But that is every question that was asked on the last video's comment section. So If you guys have any other questions you'd like to ask me for next week's edition of the Zapp Talk series, feel free to leave a comment in the section below this video. And y'all take it easy, and I'll see you next time. Peace.